500,000 tons.
Yeah.
Okay.
They say historically, well, the Americans were fishing the same Gulf of Alaska herring like we're fishing. I don't know what their production was, and I think Washington State had a fishery too on this herring. So there must have been several million tons of herring in that main school. You see, the school of fish was as big as Vancouver Island.
Whew, that's huge.
It migrated when it spawned. It migrated back up in the Gulf of Alaska. All the salmon followed and ate the herring,
Mm-hmm.
and then the fat salmon came back. And we caught the salmon.
Unless
they
they were
didn't
eaten
know-
by a whale.
You know, I mean, you look at this. What have we got running
Or a
this
seal.
country? Like there's no tomorrow. The buffalo hunt. It's the same mentality. You know, the timber industry. Everywhere you go here, nothing sustainable.
What could be made sustainable? What have we got now?
We
Pretty
have
much anything can be sustainable if it's managed properly.
Well, we got to look at that goddamn agriculture too. That's one thing we don't want to lose.
Yeah.
You know. Well, they're paying attention to oil. Why don't they pay attention to that farming back east? You know, that's our staple. That was actually it was the wheat sales to foreign countries that made our balance of payments here. We relied on that wheat for years and years
Mhm.
as our major export. Now they seem to have turned their back on the farmer.
What's with all the tariffs? I keep hearing that word popping up. Tariffs,
Yeah, they're
particularly.
supposed to balance out. I don't know if they do or not.
Yeah. What is it? Our steel or something has tariffs either.
The Americans want to protect their industry, so they don't want foreign countries, Canada included, selling stuff into their market below their ability to match price.
Oh.
So if they can't produce it at a lower value, then to protect the value, to protect their industry that can't compete internationally, they make sure they put up a barrier in the form of a tariff.
Okay.
So incoming stuff has to pay. You know, the government's going to say, you bring that in, we're going to charge you $10 on top of what
Right.
you're paying for it. So it ain't going to be worth your while to bring it in.
And yet Canada does. They pay the tariffs because.
Shakes and shingles, lumber. But then I look at shakes and shingles and lumber. Unless we have an open bidding system here, how can the Americans compete with us? They got to pay for their goddamn timber down there. We're not paying nothing for it here. You know,
Which is why the Americans say that Canada subsidizes
we do.
by
Yeah.
the government not taking what the government should take as a stumpage.
Yeah.
They're giving an unfair advantage to the Canadian.
Oh, it does. Oh, Christ, yeah.
And then what is absolutely stupid is that our guys sell it to the American guys, let's say for $10. The government of the United States puts on a $10 tariff, and the guy in the market down there is paying $20 for said item.
Yep.
Why the fuck does a Canadian not charge them? Say, oh, sorry, your government has asked us to charge you $20 for that, so we're charging you $20. It's stupid.
Well,
We charge them 10, and the American government takes the other 10.
The craziest thing I ever heard was when they ran the tariffs on lumber, that we flooded the market.
Okay.
We flooded the bloody American market with bloody cheap timber. Why didn't we just cut it off?
Yeah.
You don't flood the market. How do you?
What was the mentality behind
I
that?
don't
Nobody
know.
knows? Oh,
I think the Americans were happy.
yeah.
Well, I know myself, when I was bidding on timber, the Americans were paying $200 a thousand stumpage on their timber down there. $10,000 an acre was the bids and all that. Oh, it was tight. I'm not kidding. These guys, you would never see the bidding, high pressure bidding. I mean, you might have 5, 6 logging companies and one block of timber. And they're bidding right to the bloody pennies.
Okay.
They'd bid up 1 cent on hemlock, 3 cents on cedar. The bidding would last all day going up 1 cent, 1 cent, 2 cents.
Wow.
Terrible. I'm not kidding. And then we go down there and see all this modern machinery sitting in fields all these steel spars, $100,000 machines at that time, all sitting there. No timber.
No timber.
That write-up I gave for the forestry there, that part of my speech there, Washington State, everywhere we go, it's bankrupt logging companies, bankrupt sawmills. We're going to the same direction here. No matter what government runs, we always seem to go in the right direction. We couldn't get no response from the union, the government, nobody. And the lumber company just keep on going the same way. Oh, well, that's Americans. They ruined their fit forest. We're more intelligent than Americans. We'll never run out. No.
Coffee?
Oh, God! If you charged me for every cup of coffee I had, I'd.
There is a tally being kept.
Oh,
We'll give it to you
well.
later.
Geez, I know an accountant would do that. I'm serious. What a bastard.